Moving on. The next clip comes from our Innovation Hour webinar. Rich tackles industries on this call and brainstorms ways to innovate them. If you have something good, you'll have something good to say. An innovative business is a cinch to write marketing for. Let's listen. And the number guy goes...
Number 3.
Have you ever had a realtor show you a home? They do the same thing every time. You walk into the front room, they say, this is the entryway. They bring you into the kitchen, they say, this is the kitchen. Oh, look at the granite countertops. Aren't they beautiful? Oh, let's go into the bedroom. Oh, look how big this bedroom is. This is huge. Wow, look, there's a huge window over there. They know nothing about the home. They're just pointing at stuff that's obvious, and nobody knows anything. The most idiotic way to sell something. I can't imagine any other profession selling that way, yet this is the entire real estate agent is built on this model. What would you say to somebody if you were giving them a personal tour of your home? That's what I really want you to keep in mind. And I want you to make this note. What would you tell them specifically? What would you point at? You know, I'm sitting in my office right now, and I'm looking at the wainscoting, and I remember watching the guy build this wainscoting. It was amazing. This guy came in here with a bunch of trim and a bunch of wood, and he sat down and made it by hand. I couldn't believe it. I thought you just went and bought wainscoting at Home Depot or something like that and threw it on the wall. No, sir. It's handmade. I watched the guy do it. But if you walked into my office and there was a real estate agent, they wouldn't have any idea that this was handcrafted, custom-made wainscoting. It wouldn't even be mentioned in most cases. Isn't there a story behind every home? Couldn't we build a case for practically any home as long as it was priced properly? Photos aren't going to cut it. The detail in the description is the key. So let's take a look. Typical website. This is a friend of mine. They sold their home in the neighborhood around the corner, and this is a typical website where you can just see some general photos. Picture of the agent is always right there, sure to impress us. Now, this is a website that I put together for my house. I'm going to walk you through it for a few minutes here. This is the website that I put together to sell my home. Now, all this is an envelopment of all the MYM principles that we talk about all the time. 5,000 times, it never changes, okay? So I want you to realize that first and foremost. There's nothing going on here other than what we normally talk about at MYM. This isn't the most beautiful site on the planet. It's not an ugly site, but it certainly isn't as fancy and as tricky. But here's what you've got to understand. People want information. They want to be sold on the house. It's not necessarily about it being beautiful. So I was able to put this website together for not a whole lot of money. And I think you'll see it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But, again, it's not that high-end feel. But, again, if you go back and look at the other websites that are being put out there by the other realtors, they're no big deal either. So here's what we've got. We've got, first of all, a value proposition, best home value in all of Southlake among homes priced $1 to $1.5 million. So as you look at this, the value proposition is clear. It's the best home value. And over here on the left-hand side, you'll see all of the comparisons. This isn't just a vacuous claim. It's actually the truth. Lowest price per square foot of any home in Southlake, priced from $1 million to $1.5 million, and then it's got two links here. One says, see recent nearby sales, and see why we're selling so low. So this is the first thing that's going to come to somebody's mind. Well, if you're selling it cheap, then there must be something wrong with the home. We'll address that objection in just a minute, but let's look at what we've done. Compare this home against other homes in the same price range. You'll see that it offers superior value no matter how you slice it. Dig into the numbers below. You'll see that out of 46 homes on the market between this price range and then the bullets, it has the lowest price per square foot of any home at $166 per foot. The average price per square foot is $222. If this home were priced at average $222 per square foot, it would be listed for $1.73 million. If only half the homes have a pool, this has a classy show pool built for $102,000. Only one of the homes have 6 bedrooms. This one actually has 7. It is the largest home out of the 46, and only one of 3 over 7,000 feet. It has one of the largest lots, not to mention one of the most beautiful. So we start actually doing what? Oh, selling the home. And then there's a comparison chart. So if you take a look at it, you'll see that it's sorted by price per foot. And this is listed at $166 per foot. It's got a .94 size acre, built in 2004, 7 bedrooms, 6 full and 3 half bathrooms. It, yes, has a pool, and it tells the subdivision. And as you scroll down on this, you'll see that it gets up into homes that are well into the $2 and even $3 and even $400 per square foot range. And it's a comparison. Now let's go back up here and let's take a look at, see why we're selling solo. Do you see that this is just the standard MYM principles we're facilitating and building a case? We don't just say it's the best value in homes, we actually prove it. Here's why we're selling solo. 10 reasons it's so inexpensive. At only $166 per foot, you might be wondering why this home is so much less expensive than other comparable homes. And then there's a link back to the comparison chart. Here's some of the answers. Built it right. We built this home ourselves from the ground up. We did it right. We moved into the home with equity and don't have to make a ton of money on the sale as we move on. Number 2, recession. When we financed the home in 2005, it appraised at 1.6. Clearly, the real estate market has gone backwards since then, but this home is still worth more than the asking price. There are almost 50 homes in this market, in this price range in South Lake right now. Simple economics and supply and demand would suggest the prices are going down, but for how long? This is the perfect time to snatch up a great deal. Number 3, getting out of Dodge. If you haven't read the section on the story of our home yet, read it right now. We need to make a decision soon on whether or not we're going to move, and if we can't sell the home, we're just as happy to stay. Now, let's pause here for just a moment. Let's assume that you're a realtor. You say, wow, this is very first person. I don't know if I'd want to put this much effort into my client's home. Here's my first question. Why not? You're going to make $23,000 on the 3% commission if the home sells. Why wouldn't you put this kind of effort? Could you not hire somebody that could build this type of a website for a couple $1,000s for any home that you had for sale? Let's read the story of our home. If you're looking for a house, there's over 400 for sale in South Lake. If you're looking for a home, this might be the place for you. And then I go on to tell that, hey, we're thinking about moving to Logan, Utah. We ended up obviously not moving per the story I'm telling right now. But I tell them in this story, look, we're going to move, and if we're going to move, we got to do it right away. And if we're not going to move, that's okay too. And I put some scarcity in place that this house isn't for sale for very long, and we're not concerned about selling it. If we don't sell it, that's fine. That's a good technique. And then as you go down, it tells a little bit about the home. It tells a little bit about us. And then I do one of the cardinal sins that you should never do. I actually put a picture of our family on there because you're not supposed to do that because people don't want to see your family. I mean, if you ever sold a home, they say, take all your family photos off the mantle and off the walls. That's not something people want to see. And to me, that's the most idiotic, ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I mean, unless your family's just butt ugly, which hopefully yours isn't, it's called humanizing. What I'm trying to do is pull emotional heartstrings and let people know, hey, this is kind of where we're at. So anyway, this is very powerful. Now, let's get to the real meat here. A couple of things. First of all, you go over to the floor plan. You look at this. One thing I hate about homes for sale is you can never find out what their floor plan is without actually showing up at the model. What we put on here is a floor plan that you can click it, open it, shows you exactly where everything is, how big it is, first floor, second floor. Here's a picture of the lot. You can see how the home sits on the lot. You can see where the pool is. You can see how big the yard is. You can see the driveway, blah, 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 etc. So that's good. But the real key is right here. Photos downstairs, inside photos downstairs, inside photos upstairs, outside photos. You say, wow, that's a lot of photos. Also construction photos. Why so many photos? Because this is where the real selling is going to happen. Inside photos downstairs, and you'll see that we've partitioned it out by different rooms. So if you want to see the entry in the formal living room, here's what you're going to see. Multiple photos. Now you'll notice that these are not what you would call professional quality photographs. These are ones that we just took ourselves. And it doesn't really matter because they give the essence of the story. And the key thing, if you learn nothing else on this call, if you take nothing else away from this, look at the captions below the photos. This is where the selling is done. We tell people what to look for. If we don't tell people what to look for, they're not going to know. This is the old marketing principle called confirmation bias.
Haha, that's right. I cut Rich off. Give the man some privacy. He isn't one of those everyone in one hut kind of gurus. Back off.